Hello, hello, hello. It is Tuesday. It is Tammy with Cheers to Creativity, and it is time for today's Tuesday Tips, Techniques, and Teachings. And yes, I'm running late. That's okay. Let me see if I can find us just super quick. See what I can do. There we are. All right, so we're going to do Believe in the Magic of Christmas. That is this guy right here. And I didn't have a chance to really prep ahead of time. So we're going to just go with it and go with the flow. Use what we've got. And if this is something you think you might be interested in a pattern for, let me know. As you can see, I don't have a pattern right this second. I'm going to draw one on here. And see if I can see you guys. Thanks for popping on. Hello, Becky. Hello, Tammy. Cheers. All right, so this is a Santa I've done hundreds of times, so I should be able to just kind of sketch him on, and then we should be able to set him aside. Let me do that, I think. I might have to pivot my chair a touch there. That should work. All right, so this is just an old piece of scrap wood that I just got from hubby, and we're going to pull him down a little bit. Maybe I can move the camera instead of keep scooting me away. Maybe if I scoot the camera away. There you go. All right. So to draw Santa, he has a really simple kind of hat. He's going to go almost like a triangle hat. And his shape may change a little bit as I paint him. He's going to have a face, of course. A little bit of a nose that's going to show up here. And then the rest of his face is going to be about here. He's going to have a mustache. Nose, mustache. And he's carrying a bag, a sack of all the toys. And it's going to come down to about here. It's got to be over his arm, right? So let's create an arm. A little muff on his arm. And he's going to be holding the sack with his little mitten. Like I said, the shapes will probably change a little bit as I go, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to flare his coat out at the bottom. Do his beard. We'll let his coat come off about like that. Okay, let's go. So this is a Santa. Like I said, I have painted many, many, many of these Santas along the way. I've painted them on all sorts of things. Let's switch this just a touch there, because I think then you can see him a little better. All right, the one color I know I did not grab, but I can probably make one up is, yeah. So you can paint Santa any color, the red any color you want. Depending on the red, you may need to give it more than one coat. I like Tuscan red for its coverage. Santa red to me is a little more, it's a little dustier. This one almost looks like it was like a tomato spice color. And then you could also go the way of having something more like a burgundy. Let's do a burgundy Santa today. I feel like a burgundy Santa. So I'm going to give this a coat to begin with. Do his hat. And fill it in. Like I said, shapes may change a little as I go. Nothing too fancy. How is everybody today? Everyone having a good day? We actually had our first snow in October, but it lasted like maybe an hour. This one's going to last a little longer than that. Forgot how much fun snow is to clean off your car before you get ready to go somewhere. And I really didn't forget, but snowing in Wisconsin too? Yeah, well, I'm pretty close to Wisconsin, so I can believe that. I'm going to stick a little bit of this color in here. And that's going to be his bag. So let's go around the bag. This is just burgundy color. Any red will do. I know I poured myself a cup of coffee, but I may have left that upstairs. Yes, Tammy's a hot mess. Par for the course. So I don't know if any of you had given any consideration to looking into my friend Heidi's membership, but her doors close today. So if you're thinking about it, make sure you head on over there and check it out. I have an affiliate link if you need it, and I'm happy to answer any questions for you. But Heidi is a sweetie. All right, I'm just getting this based in. Because this is old wood, and I didn't do anything to it other than have my hubby run a quick sander over it, it is sucking up the paint quite a lot. So I can tell you it's going to need a second coat, but I might go on ahead and give a couple other things a coat before. I'm just going to use what I can have up on my brush here. All right, let's take and wipe off that brush first, and then I'll clean it off with some water. Appreciate if you guys would cheer this on or sprinkle it away. This is a fun holiday project. It's one that's really pretty quick. So we're going to fill in his bag. His bag can be any color. Like on this board, it was kind of hard to see the difference between the board and the brown. So if you wanted to make his bag can be any color you want. It could be green. It could be, we're going to see how this brown does. If it doesn't show up, we're going to change it to something else. Let's just see. Actually, I think it'll be okay. So this is his bag of toys. This was one of the Santas that I had as options to teach, and even though there were some people who liked it, he didn't come up in the top 3. So I figured I would go ahead and just show him to you because he's relatively quick and easy. I think I made his bag a little too big. Yep, I did. We're going to have to come back with a little more red paint to fill in. That's okay. Doesn't ever have to be exactly the same. In fact, I rarely paint the same thing the same way twice. It might get me a little bit in trouble when I go and get ready to teach things because sometimes they turn out different when you paint them different. We are doing the Advent Santa in person tonight, so it's going to be a Santa day. Okay, I think I can bring his bag down a little more. Okay, that looks good. Let's just wipe my brush off and pick up some more of that red paint. Like I said, I didn't think Santa's bag needed to be, he's generous and all, but it doesn't need to be quite that much. All right, so I filled it in next to the bag. Oh, it's so nice to see you guys all here. All right, so we've got our first and second kind of coat onto our red for our Santa. I'm going to pick up a little gray, and I've got slate gray here, so I'm just going to use it. I normally brush mix black and white to make gray, but this is sitting here, so we might as well use it. And I think it's getting old. It's getting hard to get out. Let me set that aside. And I did not grab flesh, but I have fawn. I think if I add a little brown to fawn, we might be okay. If I had raw sienna, that would be awesome because I can make flesh raw sienna. You know what? I'm going to grab our warm beige. That is my go-to flesh color. And I can grab my water too. Sorry, guys. So warm beige is the color that I use most of the time for my fleshes. It's a good little fleshy color. I have a little sip of that. It's your birthday. Oh, happy birthday. That's special. Let me fill in his face. I don't know if any of you saw my post, but I got all done doing the snowman turn tray or tier tray that I showed you guys the other day. And I looked for like 3 hours for the hardware that went with it and could not find it anywhere. I was like so frustrated. Hubby to the rescue. He found me some spindle parts that worked. I need a little smaller brush to just give him a little definition here. Santa just has a little bit of curves in before we get a little bit of a nose. I'm catching little bits of this wood. That is the fun of working with reclaimed wood, is sometimes you've got little pieces that just don't want to take the paint the way you want them to. That's okay. All right. So I still have that flesh in this brush. I'm going to pick up a tiny bit. I can even pick up the burgundy that we had, just a very small amount. And then I'm going to push it on my plate until I get a nice, soft pink color. And I'm going to go next to his nose and think about like a half circle for this particular guy. Okay, it's going to go up and around. And that should be enough color for his little cheek. Okay, we'll let Santa just hang out there momentarily. He looks a little funny. He'll be okay, I promise. Rinse my brush out. I'm going to grab just kind of a pouncy brush or a well-loved brush. This one is actually a pounce brush, but you can use a well-loved brush and pick up the gray. And I'm really not offloading it. I just kind of like tapped a little bit on here. And I'm going to tap where his fur is going to be for his hat. I'll bring his hat down a little bit this time. He's going to have a little bit of a ball on the top of his hat. He's going to have a little bit of fur down at the bottom here. You do want to make sure your red is pretty dry before you do the one on the bottom, so you're not turning your gray into gray pink. And he's going to have a little bit of fur on his cuff too. But before I do his cuff, I'm going to grab just a round brush. And I'm going to do this beard a little differently than I do some of my other ones. I'm going to start kind of at the bottom and start just pulling up. You can go either way. You can pull down or pull up. I just want little strokes of gray, okay? Whoops, not my gray hair in there though. Okay, my one gray hair is making quite a mess. You could just base coat this in because we're going to come back and do more with the off-white. To decide what I want to do with him. He's fine. He'll be fine. So give him a little bit of a mustache. He's going to have a little hair. Let's get some color down here for him. His magic happens in the next color. One of the reasons I like to do my own gray is like this slate gray. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's a little bluer than I like most of my grays. That's why if I go white and black, it gives me just a little more ability to make my own. I'm going to make this part of his hat right here. I've just decided that's where it's going to meet. Okay. All right. Got to let that dry a little bit. So make sure I've got enough up by his mouth where he's got, or his mustache there. Then I can give myself an idea where his fur is going to be on his mitten. Might have to pull some more red up here. Looks like I didn't go far enough with the red. Not a problem. I'll just sneak a little red in there. Everything's going to need another coat here in just a second anyhow, so. But you can see the base coats are pretty simple. We've got his arm, his coat, and his hat are red. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and give him a second coat because I certainly made that kind of gray. Did not mean to do that. I'm going to pick a brush that's going to be a good size for me to add the shading with too, so whatever you're comfortable with. Why is I never have the brushes I want? Oh, the joys of owning too many brushes, I guess. I'm just going to grab the same one I used before. This is a filbert. I usually would be doing this with a flat, but we're going to go ahead and use it. Oh, thank you for those little hearts and those stars. Certainly appreciate you. So I'm going to give this, I'm going to do this one little area at a time. So there is my hat. My hat isn't going to have a whole lot, but it's going to have a little bit of shading. And I'm just going to go straight to black. So my paint is still wet, so I've given it a second coat. I'm going to pick up a little bit of black on the corner of my brush. See how little that is? Not much at all. Okay. And again, I'm just going to push it down so it gets to be a nice soft color. And I'm going to lay the black next to his fur. And I'm just going to kind of tap it on there. Tap, 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 tap. Okay. And I might just kind of create a line up the middle just to give it a little, look like it's a little more shaded. And I'm going to shade down the back side of it. I'm going to wipe the black off my brush or rinse it off if I need to. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to give this all a second coat. Second to third coat, I guess. I don't know what these are, but let's get rid of them. Sure you've got good coverage. He gets spattered too, so it's okay if he's not perfect. I don't aim for perfect. Okay. I'm going to cover up where I got this gray going on up here. Okay. So again, I'm going to load my brush the same way I did, picking up a little tiny bit of black, really pushing it down. And I'm going to kind of glance at this arm and realize that I want to go shade up around his arm. I'm going to come down next to the bag. I'm just going to, that's where my arm would be. Coming down, and then we need to see, pick up a little more paint. So with my black on each side, kind of come to show where his hand would be coming out of his arm. So when your elbow bends, you get it, you get it. Let's shade just a tiny bit next to his bag there. And I'm going to pick up a little more paint. And I'm going to shade around next to his bag, right on the red coat, and we'll just extend that down. If it gets to be, if it looks too harsh, you can always pick up a little bit of the red and go right back over it to soften the color a little bit. And I like to pull just a little bit next to where my fur is going to be too. The other option is to pull a little next to his beard. His beard might be too wet for me to do that though. Okay. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot his mitten. Let's give him a mitten real quick. We're going with green because we have green. We have green that doesn't want to come out of the bottle. Okay. All right, so fill in his little mitten. So just give him a thumb and then give him where the rest of his paw is going to go. So we definitely want that in there. Snow is pretty. I don't think I'm quite ready for snow yet. But I will have to find a way when I'm done painting him to show you something really kind of exciting for me. I'm going to give my bag another quick coat. Not with that brush. That brush is way too tiny. I just rinsed my bigger brush out, picking up the brown. Big brush makes it go much faster. And I'm going to pick up just a tiny bit of any light color, white. It can even be this is fawn. I want to just lighten the center of the bag a little bit. I have paint that does not want to come out today. So I'm not side loading. I'm just picking up a little bit just to lighten up the center of the bag. And I'm just going to kind of blend that into the wet paint. So it'll just be a little lighter. It'll just help that bag stand out a little more. And then if you want, you can pick up a little bit of the black and just give it a little darker color around the edge of the bag. All right, so we have him. Oops, hang on, guys. I have to plug you in. Suddenly, my battery decided it wants to be dead. We're not done. So hang on. Things are a bit of a hot mess here today. Oops. We'll see what we can do. Get plugged in. There we go. Ta-da! Life is better. Oops. So I want to do his eye. Sorry about that. For Chalk Couture, go to the Comfy Nest. Grace, the Comfy Nest, is a Chalk Couture person. I don't know of anybody else. If someone else knows of somebody else, by all means, share. Okay. What brand color is that red? It is DecoArt, and it is a deep burgundy. So I'm going to put his little eye just above his cheek, and I'm just going to start with a little bit of a, well, like a little parenthesis, just a little curved line. Then I'm going to draw a line straight up, and then I'm going to pull it down. It's going to be kind of like a Hershey little kiss eye. I'll pull it up here in just a second and show you what I did. Okay. And then I'm going to give him some eyelashes. So I'm going to want to, you might want to even thin your paint down a little bit with a little water. I'm going to start at the very tip of his eye, and I'm just going to pull these soft little lashes out like such. If you want, you can even pull a couple little off the back of his eye. I'm going to rinse my brush out. I'm going to find me just a tiny, tiny dot of white. Hello, hello. So I'm just going to use the very tip of my brush and just put a little dot in his eye. And while I'm there, I'm going to give him just a little line in his cheek. Now, for some reason, he seems to have more of a forehead. We might just give him some hair when we bring it in. Okay, so I didn't want to go white on his beard because I want him to be kind of more of that antique-y Santa. So, do I want to go? I think we're gonna go buttermilk. Okay. So buttermilk is like an ivory color. And first, what do I do first? We're gonna do the beard first. I'm gonna go back to that round brush I had somewhere. I had a round brush. And this is where I'm really going to lay his beard in more with these strokes. I'm going to pull just these lines of color up. And it can be either way. You can go this way or that way. I like to go one particular way for the whole beard. And I'm going to pull these up. If I get on my mitten, I can always come back and... Now I love my rake brush, and it gives a real fun, lots of separation, but sometimes you just need a little bit different beard. And this is this one. I'm not sure I love the color, so I can always come back and change it. Pull everything up for the beard first. Pull the beard right into the mustache. I haven't done the mustache yet. Hello, Piper. And then I'm going to give him some little hair. So I'm pull the hair from the side of his face in toward his face, side of his head in toward his face. We'll pull a couple of those bits of hair down this way. Then you need to create your mustache, and it's just going to go around and up, around and up. So I wanted this guy to be kind of strokey. I wanted to see the little bits of strokes of the beard, and I am not liking that, so I'm gonna go back over it with light buttermilk. There isn't a big difference between buttermilk and light buttermilk. I'll pull this up so you can see. But the light buttermilk almost, it's just less yellow. Let's just say that. So I'm gonna let that dry just a tiny bit. Am I? Yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna go right back over it. But I do like this color better. So skip buttermilk. And you certainly could just do white too, but hey, I wanted to show you something different. So we're doing this guy. And I like seeing all the strokes in his beard. If that's not your kind of Santa, then you can always change up the beard a little bit and just do a base coat of a gray and then top it with a white with a little line. When Santa's beard and mustache are a little drier, we'll come back and shade a little bit for him. Get his hair a little whiter. And a little bit here too. Okay, now we're gonna go back to our fur. And I'm gonna do the light buttermilk. And we're gonna pounce over wherever we did our fur. Oops, I want to have a little bit of that gray still show through, so I don't want to pounce him solidly. But of course I could always come back and pounce in a little gray if I needed to. I like to go up over the hat. I'm going to have his fur kind of come around his head a little bit, his little ball up here, and his fur down here. Is it fur? It's not really fur. Fur trim. Okay, so I'm going to do a little more detailing on him. We overshot his bangs up here a little bit, so I've got to give him a little more face. Made a little mistake, but that's okay. We fixed it. I think he's okay. I think he's all right. Remember, there are no mistakes, just design changes, and we're changing a little bit right now. Just to change up his face features just a tiny bit. And we'll just pull a little hair, not quite as much hair. There you go. He's better. He's better now. Okay, I'm gonna rinse that out. Let's just take that little liner brush I've got in my hand, and I'm just going to give enough definition around his mitten. Ooh, without setting my hand down in paint would be a good idea. All right, see if we can stay out of the paint. just enough. You know where I forgot? I forgot his little bit of fur on his cuff. Okie doke. All right, we have the lettering and the little rosebuds on his hat to add yet. So let's do that next. Move him here, put this away. I don't think I ever cleaned up from yesterday. Yeah, the Deerfoot is a great brush for that. I probably do have one. I do, right here. This is what a Deerfoot looks like. It almost looks like it's cut at an angle. Let's see if I can find the camera. And it's got the soft thing. And the nice thing too, because of that point, you can get into different areas. Okay, so what he's gonna need is a couple little roses on his hat. And I do them really simply with just a little bit of white. I can use the light ivory. Light ivory's fine. So I have a little bit of light ivory on my plate. And I think I'm gonna do these so they're a little, this should work, more of like a berry color. Will that work? It should. We're gonna try. If it doesn't work, we'll try something else. This is a metallic. This is a berry called berry. Ooh, and I don't need that much, I can promise you. I've used a little flat brush. And I think this is like an 8, 6 or an 8. Every brand is different. And I put half of my brush in the color and half of it in the white. And then I'm gonna push down so they blend. And I'm gonna keep the white or light color up. And I'm gonna start on that chisel edge and I'm gonna slide, push, slide. And then I'm gonna go back to the same side and I'm gonna go about, 3/4 of the way up and I'm gonna slide down, push, and slide up. So that is how I make my little rosebuds. They are like a little C stroke. First sliding, pushing, sliding down, and then going almost to the top, sliding down, pushing, and sliding back up. That's the way I make mine. You can just fill them in with a color. Is that gonna work on it? Okay, the color, yeah. You can just fill them in with one color and fill them in with a darker color, but we're gonna do this without setting my hand in the paint. So I'm gonna do one about here. I'm gonna go slide, push, slide, slide, push, slide. I have a lot of water in my brush. Do one this way. And I'm gonna do one this way. And I just put my hand in the paint. Didn't have enough white on that one. Okay, that's fine. Then I'm just gonna wipe that off. I'm gonna go back to my green that I had. That's black, Tammy. Let's try that again with green. It's a little green. So I've got green on my brush. I'm gonna pick a little bit of that light color up on the corner. So I've got just a little varying color. And this time I'm only gonna do is I'm gonna start on that chisel with my brush, I'm gonna slide, I'm gonna push it down, and I'm gonna come back up and I'm gonna make a little leaf. So nothing too fancy. Let's do one this way, one this way, one this way, one that way. And you can add as many as you want because I really am not liking this one rosebud. That's okay. And I think I'm gonna add a couple little white dots to them too. We'll just use the end of our brush and just, without getting my hand in the paint, oh my goodness. Just a little something on his hat. Okay, and then black will be what we will use, black and gold, for our lettering. And I'm just going to do mine, but at this point, I probably would suggest just using a Posca pen and believe in the magic of Christmas. I don't know if I can, it's not my favorite brush. We'll see if I can find a better one. I still tend to do most of my lettering by hand, but nothing at all wrong with a Posca pen. Nothing at all. So let's just thin your paint a little bit with water, roll it to a nice point. You can put it on with pencil first if you want. I think I might just do Believe with you. That went pretty well. I'm gonna fatten up my B. Believe. What it's doing here. Aren't they holly leaves and berries? Well, mine are little rosebuds, so they can be whatever you want them to be. Let's brush this off. In the and of course we have stencils we could use too, if you prefer. The new letters that just came in the December stencil of the month would be perfect for this. Magic. It's good to make sure you're spelling things right too. Of and then I'm going to switch to gold for Christmas. And we'll do a little more detailing on that beard and we will be golden. Grab a little gold. This is Emperor's Gold. It's a really, really bright gold. It's also decor. I don't tend to add water to my metallic paints. I find them to be a little thinner to begin with, but if you need to add a tiny bit, I think I just needed the challenge to see if I could actually do this anymore. Almost there. And I'm going to show you, I just got pictures of, and we will have these in our hot little hands before the day is over, because I can't wait. Okay, so believe in the magic of Christmas. And on the one that I had done here, you can see they actually have little dots on the letters. I don't know that I may do that, but I always like to let mine dry a little bit. Last thing we need to do on the beard is we need to just go back and with a little bit of the gray. And I've just got this on a little bit of the corner. I'm just gonna very lightly go underneath his mustache, pull a little of that down, and just make sure I can see a separation between his hair and the mustache too. If you've gotten too white or light ivory, you can go back and streak in a little of the gray to break up that color too. All right, hold tight. Let me see if I can find what I want to find for you. Turn you back this way. Hello. hang on. I just got to see them. If I can find her. Oh, because she didn't send them to Cheers, she sent them to Tammy. And can you see? Those are the new ornaments that I designed. So we have the Cheers snowman, we have my woodland Santa, we have the other little snowman, and we have a nativity. So those are going to be the ornaments that I can't wait to pick up. So pretty excited about that. Let me see if I can go back and find you guys real quick. There you are. So pretty excited about those. That's what I got. It's gorgeous. I would do anything beautiful. You can paint. This is super simple. So, and you know what? I'm going to show you how no two look anything alike. So here's the one we just did. And he's not perfect. Look, he's got spots that he's missing a little paint on. I will spatter him. If you've never spattered paint before, you're gonna want to thin it with, and use like a stiff brush, like an old toothbrush, and you just fling your finger across. And this is this guy. I like his beard better. My beard didn't turn out so great today. Thank you on the ornaments. I'm really pleased with how those turned out. The gal who did those for me does the Matthias ornaments, and like I said, I'm so excited. I don't know if I have time to go get them before I teach class, but I think I may have to try. And oh, you like the Santa too? Yep. Okay, so that he's always been a great seller. So if you are somebody who does craft fairs or vendor events, he's always been a great seller. And you saw how simple he is, and he would be very easy to enlarge and make into a porch leaner too. And I think the Believe in the Magic of Christmas is just a super sweet little note for Christmas time. All right, guys, that's today's Tuesday Tips, Techniques, and Teachings. Thanks so much for shopping, for watching, and for cheering this on. And I will see you again real soon. Until I do, please be kind, be safe. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.